Monty, we're good? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday, November 3rd City Council meeting. Trish, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Bainey. Here. Alderman Glad.
Here.
Alderman Doherty.
Here.
Alderwoman Bassey.
Here.
Alderman Davis.
Here.
Alderman Cook.
Here.
Alderwoman Miller.
Here.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There was no one signed up for public comment. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment at this time? All right, moving on to presentation annual financial report for the fiscal year ending April 30th, 2025. We have Kevin Smith from Assessian. You can hit that center button, sir. Floor is yours.
All right, thanks everyone for having me. So I just wanted to come out like we do every year and just give you guys kind of a quick rundown of how the audit went and a few key financial things. So as usual, field work went well. We got everything we needed. Internal controls seem to be in a good spot. No issues with anything that we found. We do make journal entries every year, but those are normally just reclasses, and then your long-term GASB entries that are basically for report purposes only. So no significant issues there. So no management letter in the current year. Clean, unmodified opinion on the report, which is the best opinion you can get. As far as new standards this year, so the last couple of years have been the lease standard and the subscription-based technology agreement standards. This year was compensated absences. So compensated absences, in the past, you only accrued for those if you had time that was going to be paid out. Now the new standard requires you to accrue time that's earned, such as sick time, is going to be used in the future. Just to make it a little more simple for you guys, basically you're accelerating salaries. So it's salaries that you guys were going to pay out one way or another. It's just showing on the books now that, hey, these people have earned the sick time. They can use it in the future. And that's what that accrual is for now. It's not additional salaries that you guys are paying out like the pension liabilities or anything like that. So that was new for this year. So you see a couple things in the report. There are some accounting principle changes that are adjustments shown on the statements. And there's also a couple new footnotes in the report for that as well. As far as financial highlights then, so page 17 of the report, just your governmental funds are up about 4.6 million this year to about $30 million, which is a little over about 10 months of current government expense. So definitely not too high. Pretty much in the same range that you guys have been in the last few years. You guys have been about 8 months. So no significant change there. More specifically, the general fund is about 25.5 million, which is mostly unrestricted, which is a little under 11 months of current year expense. Same thing. It's pretty generally within where you guys have been in the past few years. So no real significant changes there either. The other funds in general, no real significant changes, no concerns there. The recreation center is a little lower. It's just under 3 months, but that actually is an improvement from the last couple of years. Last couple of years have been just under about 2 months. So that's going in the right direction. Business type funds then on page 19 then, this is your water sewer fund. Unrestricted fund balance there is about 13 million, which is about a year and a half current year expense, which also is right in line with the last few years as well. So overall funds seem to be in good shape. Then on to government-wide. So government-wide on page 14 of the report, that is going to be where all your long-term things for governmental activities come into place. So this is where going to be your fixed assets, all the pension liabilities, the compensated absences that I just talked about, the long-term debt, that all comes on the books then. And the change there is about 4.8 million for the year of an increase, which isn't significantly different from the funds, but page 18 gives you a breakdown of how those numbers change. So every year you have certain things that are expenses for the funds. They're not for government-wide, such as capital outlay. So you guys spend X amount of dollars on fixed asset projects. Those are expenses on the funds. When you get to the government-wide, they get booked up into a fixed asset. You depreciate them over time. Sometimes when you have significant differences between those two numbers, those significantly change. Other things that cause changes are your debt payments or expenses on the funds. They reduce the debt on the government-wide financial statements. The pension liabilities are on there. Those can fluctuate based on how the market's done with the pension funds, what the net position of those are. This year, the pension funds, as far as the contributions and the expenses, pretty much net each other out. Your guys' capital outlay and depreciation were significantly different. And then you guys did have the debt payments that you made. But page 18 gives you a good breakdown of how all those numbers and which adds to those numbers. Then on page 14, just I wanted to point out, this is where you will see the change in accounting principle adjustment for the compensated absences. So when you get down to the bottom where it shows your guys' ending net position, it does show the change in accounting principle. That was the adjustment that was made for the new compensated absences standard. Footnotes 21 and 22 give you more of a detailed description of what that change was. It is just the compensated absences. It is required to be in the footnote like that. So that had to be in there. So those are new as well. But other than the GASB 101 changes, everything was pretty standard in comparison to the prior year, just updated for the current year numbers. So other than that, those are the main things I wanted to go over, unless you guys have any specific questions.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions by council? Oh, go ahead, Alderman Bassi.
My question is actually not for you, but it is about the audit.
Okay.
So hopefully, Director Lynch, according to the audit, the city's general fund balance increased from the prior year. 37% of the general fund balance is unassigned. What are the plans for the unassigned funds?
So that balance does make up a lot of other funds that are not just for operating expenses. Obviously, when we have a fund balance and reserve policy, if and when it is above the required 120 days, we will bring that balance to the city council to transfer it over to be used for capital.
Okay, but you don't have any specific plans right now?
So last year we did, with the budget, we sent over 2.9 million, and that is reserved for the Route 31 project. So we'll do the same thing again in February, March when we do the budget. And we'll provide that dollar amount from this year's budget. And then you will have the option of what capital projects to use it for or whatnot.
Okay, thank you. And I do have one more question for you. Again, according to the audit, the TIF fund was loaned over $130,000, $131,000 from the general fund. What was that money used for, and when will it be reimbursed into the general fund? I know right now it has a negative balance of, I think, $200,000.
Correct. So it's not really a loan that the bank balances share. So obviously the bank balance goes down by that much, but the general fund has a larger bank balance than that. But it's used for all the capital projects that were completed within the Riverwalk. So Miller Point, Riverwalk, et cetera. And when the TIF balance builds back up, the cash balance will be replenished.
Do you have any idea?
We don't have a lot budgeted this year for expenses, so I would think it would either be this year or next year. This fiscal year, 25-26 or 26-27, it
Okay.
would be back with a positive fund balance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alderman Glad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just say one question. I know in the audit you talked about, and again, this is no way to reflect on Caroline because I've never heard anything ever questionable about her and everything else. And you brought up the fact that she's well suited as far as handling the day-by-day finances and everything else with a review by the finance committee. And I'm just wondering who the finance committee is because city council doesn't have a finance committee.
What do you mean by I didn't say anything about
It was
the
brought
finance
up as far as the finance committee, and we don't have a finance committee as far as council. Are you aware of that?
committee? I didn't bring up anything about the finance committee. I mean, we do our own internal audit procedures as far as going over internal controls.
It was mentioned in here somewhere. I don't know where now. I mean, with all these pages, but it was mentioned in here. That's why I was just curious.
No.
Okay.
No.
I just
Okay.
wanted to state that just so that you guys were aware of that.
Yeah.
We don't have a finance committee.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Alderman Miller.
Thank you. In the same vein, on the notes to the financial statement, it's in our packet, page 36 in your packet, on the top of page 27. There are two SSAs that were incurred overdraft balances. Can update me on that?
So the one SSA is the Hunterville, which that one will need to be repaid because that is not going to go forward. So that will be probably put in this budget, this next budget, to pay that down to a zero balance. The other SSA, like, what is it?
Lakewood.
Yes.
Lakewood one.
Lakewood is number
Um,
4.
Only 340.
Yeah, that one will, this is actually the last year that the property taxes are levied. 2024, I believe, is the last year, so that'll be completely cleared out.
And Hunterville didn't happen,
Correct.
so that'll just zero out.
Well, the general fund or some fund is going to have to clear that out to pay for those expenses because it was all, I believe, engineering for that project that is not going to go forward. So we will have to cover that with general fund, most likely.
Thank you.
Any other questions by council? No? Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to consent agenda items 6A through 6D. Is there any items that council would like to pull for separate consideration? See none, I'm looking for a motion to approve 6A through 6D. Alderman Miller,
I'll make the motion to approve 6A through D as presented on the consent agenda.
thank you. Alderman Daney,
I'll second that motion.
thank you. Discussion on these items? See none? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Miller,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bainey,
Yes.
Alderman Glad,
Yes.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderwoman Massey,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderman Cook,
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda is 7A is a fence variation at 2507 Lincoln Road. I'm looking for a motion to pass an ordinance granting a fence variation to accommodate the construction of a security fence for the Aqua Illinois Water Treatment Plant at 2507 Lincoln Road. Alderman Miller,
I'll make the motion to approve the passage of an ordinance granting a fence variation to accommodate the construction of the security fence at Aqua Illinois at 2507 Lincoln Road.
thank you. Second, Alderman Doherty,
I'll make a second to the motion of 7A.
thank you. Discussion on this item by city council. Alderman Glenn.
I just, looking at the plans, I was just amazed that we're really not looking at, we've got 3 sides of that landscaped and everything else, and then the side facing the roadway is the side that has no bushes or anything else over there platted. It's just wide open. And that gate is right up to the property line. So I would think that we would have wanted to at least have a couple feet back there, and I know it's tight for them, but 2 feet off of the property line so that they could have some landscaping in front of the fencing, I think would have made more sense than having it wide open over there. Again, we're doing it for all the other 3 sides, but then we're not doing it for the main road.
Any other questions by council? Comments? Open up for public comment regarding this item. See none? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Miller,
Yes.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bainey,
Yes.
Alderman Glad,
Yes.
Alderwoman Massey,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderman Cook,
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda is 7B is 1211 North Riverside zoning map amendment. Looking for a motion to pass an ordinance granting a zoning map amendment to the C4 Downtown Commercial District for the property at 1211 North Riverside Drive. Looking for a motion. Alderman Doherty,
I'll make a motion for item 7B, the 1211 North Riverside zoning map amendment as presented.
thank you. Second. Alderwoman Bainey,
I'll second that motion.
thank you. Discussion by city council. See none. Open it up for public comment regarding this item. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bainey,
Yes.
Alderman Glad,
Yes.
Alderwoman Massey,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderman Cook,
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller,
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda is 7C, Redwood Final Plan and Plat of Subdivision. Looking for a motion to pass an ordinance granting final plan and plat of subdivision approval for the Redwood of McHenry Planned Unit Development. Looking for a motion to approve. Alderman Cook,
Yeah, I'll vote with it.
Can you turn on your, can you?
I'll make the motion to go.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking for a second. Alderman Miller,
I'll second that motion from Alderman Cook.
thank you. Discussion by city council? Alderman Bassi?
Are they here?
Yes. Can we ask a few questions if you don't mind?
Thank you.
If you can just hit the center button there. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kelly McIver. I'm a Vice President of Acquisitions with Redwood.
Thank you.
Mhm.
What will the rent be for a two-bedroom home?
Right now, the rents are projected at an average of $2,800 a month.
2,800 a
Mhm.
month? Okay. Thank you. Ross, what is the market rate for two-bedroom in McHenry right now?
So I had trouble, and Alderwoman Bassi called me today and said she was going to ask this question. So I did some research on it. And the best method that I could come up with, because it's all over the board, is actually the AI answer, which is 1,700 to 1,900.
Okay.
It depending on the product,
Right.
in the age of the units, rental units, it's all over the place. So
Okay. Thank you for doing that. So then my question to you is that your development will exceed market value rate right now. Is that correct?
No, I don't think that's a correct statement. So let me talk a little bit about the way that we set rents. What we do is we take a look at several comps in the area. And so we'll pull comps from other neighborhoods that are already built and up and operational of various ages. If we have a neighborhood in the area that we can use as a comp, a direct comp, a Redwood neighborhood, we'll use that as well. Because we are generally unique in that we are two-bedroom, single-story attached garages, our amenities are single-story living, and the pet wash station is sort of the peace and quiet that comes from that. The accessibility of the homes, the accessibility of the neighborhood. We have to do some kind of premium adjusting with the market rents generally. So the single story living is worth a certain amount of premium. If someone near us has a community center on site and we don't, then we will deduct something from what the comps are. And then when you look at that, so that's how we determine the rents. And then when we say an average rent, it's going to be $2,800, projected to be $2,800 a month right now. That's based on when we anticipate having our homes ready to lease, which is probably 2.5 years from now, given site work and vertical. So there's an inflation escalator built in there as well. Those are the rent numbers that we use for our banks. So not only are we confident that we're going to invest $25 million, $30 million in building this, but our banks are also comfortable that that financial model will pencil at that rent.
Okay. When you said you did comparatives, what other communities were you comparing to get
That
your
is a great
rates?
question. I recently got this project, and when you asked that question, I went into our SharePoint, so I have to look it up. If you could give me a minute to look this up. And then I can pull the last rent comp for you.
Okay. Well, while you're looking that up, I did a little research today, and I found that a two-bedroom Redwood home in Volo was $2,450, whereas Crystal Lake was $2,599. So McHenry's is coming up higher.
Well, that's also, again, that's 2.5 years down the road, right? There's a rent escalator built into that number. One of the things with Crystal Lake, those rents are a little low right now. We had delivered at once. So all of our certificates of occupancy, quite a few number of our certificates of occupancy there were delivered all at the same time. So that we pace about 11 homes per month and lease them up as they go vertical. But at this point, and I don't remember what the reason was, why it was held up. It might have been landscaping. I'm not sure. But we delivered tens of units, tens of homes at once. And so in order to get them leased out quickly, there were some rent concessions made. So the rents there, you will see, if you look back a couple months ago, you would see them maybe $100, $150 a month lower. As we rent them, then we're pulling them back up to the rents that we have projected.
Okay. And did you find your communities?
No, because I was asking you,
Okay.
answering the question.
Thank you.
I do not, it is not in our SharePoint. I'm sorry, I can't, I'm not, I don't have it, it's not in SharePoint. So.
And that's okay. My only comment is that above market rate rentals contribute to the affordability housing crisis. And throughout this entire process, I have voted no, and I am still a no, but thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate this. Thank you.
No, sure. I appreciate that. I wish that I could make you comfortable. I would say that we're not affordable housing in the way that is used as a term of art, but all of our homes, our portfolio is leased up to 96% occupancy with these sort of competitive rents. So in terms of people being able to live in them, we are able to do that. And then I did want to point out that our final plan today is in substantial compliance with the preliminary plan approval. There have been no major changes made to the site plan or any of the engineering plans that were originally presented and approved with the preliminary plan approval.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you for being here. I have toured your properties and I find them very attractive. So I think you're going to do well there. Volo is the closest to that property, obviously off of 12 there. Is that 100% occupied?
I think it's 98% occupied right now. People will move in and move out, so there's some turnover, but it is generally it stays in the 95 to 90% occupied range.
And that project is completely done?
Yes, it's a completely built out, and we're actually, yes, they've invited us back to do a phase 2 there. So, but yes, it's completely built out.
Okay. And beyond this one, not that it's significant, just more of interest to me.
Mhm.
Are you looking at another project in Volo?
Yes, we have submitted for a second site in Volo.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Alderman Glad?
No question, just a statement, and that's the fact that I didn't really think much of this project either at the beginning, and I'll be voting no again today. And I don't believe in building up all the rental properties that we do in the city. I think I made a statement on a couple meetings ago as far as the percentages of tax dollars or property tax dollars that are accumulated or paid DAV on privately owned property versus rentals. And for that reason, besides others, I just can't see voting yes for this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Not saying that the layout isn't nice.
Thank you. Any other questions by council? All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Appreciate it. Open up for public comment. Anyone would like to make a public comment regarding this item? See none? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Cook,
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassey,
No.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderman Glad,
No,
Alderwoman Bainey,
Yes.
Thank you. It is passed. Thank you very much for your time. Take care. Next item on the agenda is 7D, 4523 Crystal Lake Road zoning map amendment. Motion to deny the petitioner's request for a zoning map amendment to the A1 Agriculture District and variances for the property at 4523 West Crystal Lake Road. Oh, this was pulled. Disregard that. I apologize. Next item on the agenda.
can we make a comment about that?
Sure.
I think this is a perfect example of some of the areas within the city that the city has surrounded that we haven't taken in. And this property was taken in several years back. And I don't think anybody that is in the middle of the city, that someday, sooner or later, they will wind up in the city. So therefore, they should be aware of that when they're buying a piece of property, even if it's unincorporated at the time. The buyer beware type thing and all. But if it's within the city, and again, I think we ought to look at Fager's subdivision again and readdress that That's the one behind St. Pat's that we didn't take in a couple of years back because these type of issues come up then when we don't annex those properties. So just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. Sorry, when I was reading that, I knew it was getting pulled. I forgot. So Alderman Miller. go
I
ahead.
do want to add to the discussion as well on that particular property. When we involuntarily annexed that, Cody and I spent a lot of time, because it is in my ward, Cody and I spent a lot of time with those neighbors. We met with several of them and had, I think, Bill, you were there too? No? Doug was, somebody was there with us. We talked about exactly this issue. If you have something going on at your house, let us know and we will make it work. We had a beekeeper. We obviously had Harms Farm there. So we had lots of opportunity. This is all about communication and knowing that we, the city, communicate with our residents well. This happens to be where the resident, again, for whatever reason, chose not to engage and convey what they needed to us. We met for hours with folks down there to make sure we had it right. And I was upset by their reflection on how they didn't get an opportunity. They had every opportunity to exchange information with the city and they chose not to. I just wanted to add to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right. Moving on to 7E is Shamrocks the Fox. There's several items on here, either 6 votes or we can pull items for separate consideration. So if Alderwoman Bassey would like to pull a specific item,
I only want to pull 3.
number 3. All right.
Correct.
Got
Thank
it.
you.
Any
Looked at
others,
me
any
like you
council
knew.
members wanting to pull for separate consideration? All right. So at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion for Shamrocks the Fox E1, an event tent at 1202 Riverside Drive, Miller Point Park, with live music on Friday, 3/13/26 from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday, 3/14/26 from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday, 3/15/26 from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. E2, a special event liquor license to permit the sale of mixed alcohol drinks, beer, wine, and malt beverages at Miller Point Park on Friday, 3/13 from 5 p.m. to 10:45 p.m., Saturday, 3/14 from 11 a.m. to 10:45 p.m., and Sunday, 3/15 from 12 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. E4 is a street closures of Kane Avenue from Center to Green, Green Street from Kane Avenue to Pearl Street from Green Street to Riverside Drive, and Riverside Drive from Pearl Street to Broad Street, and Broad Street to Court Street, in conjunction with the St. Patrick's Day Parade from 11:45 to approximately 1 p.m. on Saturday, 3/14/26. E5 is a closure of Pearl Street from Riverside Drive to River Road from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, 3/14/26 to allow pedestrians to view the river dying. And E6 is a permission for a fireworks display at the conclusion of the event at 7 p.m. Sunday, 3/15/26. I am looking for a motion to approve items E1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Alderman Bainey?
I will make a motion to approve E1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 for Shamrock the Fox.
Thank you. Alderman Doherty?
I'll make a second to that motion.
Thank you. Discussion by city council on these items? Open up for public comment regarding these items. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Bainey,
Yes.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderman Glad,
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassey,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderman Cook,
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller,
Yes.
Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda is E3 that was pulled by Alderwoman Bassey. Open container carry of alcoholic beverages in plastic cups throughout Green Street and Riverside Drive areas on 3/14 from 11 p.m. to 6 p.m. and 3/15 from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
11 a.m.
Did I-
Typed wrong. It is typed wrong, but it should be 11 a.m.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So I am looking for a motion to approve E3 as presented. Alderwoman Bainey.
I make a motion to approve E3 for open container carry of alcoholic beverages on Green and Riverside Drive.
Thank you. Alderman Doherty.
I'll make a second to that motion.
Thank you. Open up for discussion. Alderwoman Bassi.
Bill, does this permit allow to cross State Highway 120 with open container?
Yes, it does.
Okay, then I am not in favor of this portion.
Thank you. Any other comment? Alderman Glad.
Yeah, the information I got is it's illegal to take open containers onto the roads itself. It's okay to take the sidewalks along the state highways, but not across onto the pavement. So the crosswalk is part of the pavement, and therefore it is illegal to take open carry across 120.
Yeah, this is the same request we brought for the last, since we've had this in 2018.
I'm
So-
just telling you what I found in research, and that's the only problem I have with it is the fact of legalities. And if something were to happen there and we approve this, what kind of liability does the city take in on this? Good question. The state isn't going to back us up.
Thank you. Any other comment by city council? Any public comment regarding this item? Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Bainey.
Yes.
Alderman Doherty.
Yes.
Alderman Glad.
No.
Alderwoman Bassi.
No.
Alderman Davis.
Yes.
Alderman Cook.
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the property tax levy. I'll go ahead and turn it over to our finance director, Carolyn Lynch, to present the property tax levy for 2026.
All right. Monty's ready, so here we go. All right, so here we are again, setting another property tax levy, 2025 levy for collection in 2026. As a quick reminder, obviously the timing of setting this levy isn't ideal because we're not in our budget season yet, which doesn't start until about February or March. Obviously, it would be a lot from here and tell you exactly what our operating needs were. So, but it has to be set by December 30th. So here we are. To start, let's go through a few of the property tax levy facts. Property tax is the second highest revenue source for the city at 16% of general fund revenues. And it is also one of the primary revenue sources the city has the authority to set. Local sales tax is the other one that we have authority to set. It's at about 12.6%. And then the highest revenue source we have is the 1% sales tax at 30%. General fund revenues support city operations and supplement capital costs. As a home rule community, McHenry is not subject to the property tax extension limitation law or PTEL. As a reminder that the PTEL is set up to limit property tax extensions to the National Consumer Price Index or 5%, whichever is less. Obviously, new growth can be added to the CPI to have it grow faster than just the Consumer Price Index. For 2025, the CPI is 2.9%. Overall, property tax levy is affected by the equalized assessed value or EAV for the whole community. When the overall EAV increases, property taxes generally decrease. Individual property owners may see increases or decreases in actual property taxes based on the EAV for their specific property. If we take a look at the levy history on this table, we can see that in 2024, the levy is only about $15,000 more than it was in 2010. Obviously, our operating expenses have gone up more than $15,000 over these years. So we have used other general fund revenues to cover these additional expenses. Also highlighted on this table is that if the tax levy was adjusted annually by PTEL each year, the city could have captured an additional $16.6 million, factoring in compounding over all these years. This is just a snapshot of an actual 2024 tax bill for a $300,000 home within the city of McHenry. It highlights that McHenry is only about 5.5% of the total tax bill, highlighting that Obviously, the tax bill will go up by different amounts based off of what other taxing bodies do. As everybody knows, the school district is about 71% of the total tax bill. So whatever we do tonight, setting this rate, it will not affect the tax bill as much as the school districts. While the city has a very positive financial position right now, there are known expenses in the future that don't have a current funding source. Thanks for keeping up with me, Monty. One of these known expenses is we just received the police pension actuarial report, which is set to increase by over $400,000 for fiscal year 26-27. We directly levy the police pension in this levy, this total levy amount. So the general fund portion of the levy has to be lowered in order to increase the police pension portion of the levy. We know that we will have increases to operational expenses, including inflation and union contracts, which range between 2.75% and 4% for fiscal year 26-27. NSRA dues, we've kind of reported on this the last few years that in 25-26, they went up 12,000, and then we're expecting in 26-27 to go up over 20,000. In 25-26, we did defer over 1.1 million in capital projects that were in our capital plan due to not having the funding. These included the Fox Ridge parking lot, Route 120 streetlights, and an additional tractor. And then we do have upcoming other unfunded capital projects, including downtown streetscapes and the balance of the Route 31 project. And these are just a few of the expenses that we need to come up with revenues for. This slide highlights if the levy is not increased, that we will have to lower the general fund portion of the levy to cover the 400,000 police pension increase. It's highlighted by police pension goes up to 1 million from 691,000, and the corporate levy has to be completely zeroed out in order to cover that $400,000. And then the other thing to highlight on this slide is that we are recommending to add that special recreation fund line item on there for that 183,000 for the NSRA dues. We haven't had this on in the past. We cover these expenses with the general fund. Even if we don't increase the levy, I still think it's a good idea to add this line because we know these dues go up every year, and it would give us the option to increase that dollar amount for that increase in those NSRA dues every year. I believe we are only two communities. There's two communities, us and one other that do not levy for this directly. So every other community does, except for one.
All McHenry County communities as well as Elgin.
All right. So like prior years, we have options that we have provided. You guys obviously can set this dollar amount at whatever you want, but here are three options. I just want to note that option 1 and 2 are tied to the EAV, which I don't have the final EAV right now. So these amounts could change slightly at the next meeting. So I'm looking for more of a consensus if you want option 2 or a specific dollar, 1 or 2 or a specific dollar amount when we get to that point. Option 1 is increased by PTEL. That should be 3.7% because it includes the 2.9% CPI and the 0.8 new growth. And that would increase our property tax levy by about 115,000. Option 2 is increased by new growth, which is the 0.8% or about 24,000. And then option 3 is to create a new levy for NSRA dues. This is slightly different than the previous page. This would be actually adding the $183,000 to the levy, not just putting a line item and leaving the levy alone. The little snapshot below is the 2025 property tax levy. If we were to make the choices of option 1, 2, and 3, it highlights that if the EAV stays the same for your home, your property tax payment to the city itself would actually go down in all of the options because the overall EAV within the city has gone up. It's not working, Monty. So at this point, the options have been laid out. Obviously, any other dollar amount can be picked out. I just need a consensus tonight on which option you would like or what dollar amount you would like. And then that way on November 17th, we can bring the property tax resolution for a vote. And then on the 15th, we can have the public hearing and final adoption of the property tax levy so we can bring it to the full county clerk on December 30th. And open to discussion.
So Carolyn, the determination's going to be on, of the estimate's going to be on November 17th?
So the November 17th will set the exact dollar amount.
That's the
And set the
20-day
meeting.
determination, 20 days before we adopt
Correct.
the levy. Okay.
Correct.
Monty, can you go back a couple slides where the options are? Just so the council will have that.
Oh, I did it. Sorry.
Thank you. All right, open up for discussion by city council. Questions? Alderman Gleb?
Yeah, one of the things, I guess, Bill, this would be to you, as far as NISRA goes, how much more are we getting out of NISRA over the last couple of years, considering the increases we're seeing that we're being charged?
In terms of how much more are we getting out of them? We're not.
Would you like to give us just a past scenario of what NISRA?
Sure. NISRA is the Northern Illinois Special Recreation Area. And those participants in our programs or members of our community that may require special assistance or have special needs, they are allowed to be in our programs and occasionally need one-on-one help to do so. NISRA provides that help. They also have programming of their own that our residents can go to NISRA and have that adaptive recreation needs met. So that's the quick snapshot of what NISRA is and what they do.
But again, with those dues going up like that, are they actually providing more services now than they have in the past couple of years, or
They are not.
or has the services that they've been giving more outside of the city of McHenry, even though we're paying for it?
The service remains the same. I will say I'm a member of their board, and every year that this has come up, that I have voted against that, raising that levy, or not, we don't levy it, but against raising those dues. So I feel like I've been representative of the city of McHenry's voice on that board. But in terms of, are they adding services, or are we getting more of those services? We're not. We're getting the same service as we have. I would say similar to a school district. I mean, it's the same service that we're being provided, but that levy continues to rise.
They provide the service, but are they providing the service to more or less residents than they did in the past?
I don't have those numbers in front of me in terms of year to year of what city of McHenry participants have been involved.
I just think, considering it's on there, that maybe, and I'm not saying next week or even by the next meeting, but I think overall we should probably start looking into, what benefits are we getting out of NISRA now compared to when we first started picking them up? I think it was back, what was it, in the early 90s?
Probably before that. It's been a long time. That
Yeah,
we
I thought it
have-
was around 91 or 92, but I could be wrong.
And I'm more than happy to follow up with them and get a list of participants and the number of programs and residents served from their organization. They're happy to provide that. And even if we want to bring their executive director, he's offered to come forward if more specific questions that you have. And I'm trying to do the best I can. But if there's more specific questions, I can do that as well. But in terms of just to your question, I'm happy to get that information and provide it to all council. I should be able to provide that within the week.
I just think, like I say, I mean, if we're gonna see those kind of increases, then we should have some kind of an idea what we're paying for. Thank you.
Alderman Bainey?
Well, I just want to start out by saying what an excellent organization NISRA is and what an asset it is to our community and being inclusive and making sure that everybody's being served. But while I know you do serve on the board, recently I spent a few hours with some of their key staff, and they told me that they are adding a program for veterans as well, and that they are serving additional members of the community because they're doing veteran programming on a small scale now. And I was assuming, seeing this increase, that was supposed to to be growing over the next year or two as well?
It's not something that we've talked about at our board meeting in terms of, again, residents served. And so I can't speak educationally about that.
I talked to their programming person, and that was something that they were saying was expanding. So I would hope that that would be another population we'd be, that they would be serving and that would be serving members of our community.
Awesome. Thank you. Alderman Miller?
Do all communities participate with NISRA?
Yes.
Is it mandatory?
It's not mandatory. Nope.
Okay.
It is not. We would just have to make accommodations for on our own for residents that wanted to be involved in our programs, in our Parks and Rec programs. We'd have to make accommodations, and I can't tell you exactly what that looks like because we've never done it. Whether me or my predecessor we've always been a member of NISRA as long as it's been offered, but we are not required to do so to be a member.
And please don't misinterpret that. I see value in our membership. I know what programs they assist with, and I certainly support that. But I didn't know if there was a mandate or if it was voluntary and obviously beneficial. I believe it's beneficial. So thank you.
Extremely beneficial, but not mandatory.
Got it.
Alderman Doherty?
This seems to be a similar issue that the school districts faced with the special education district. Again, I agree. I don't diminish their programs. However, the special education district was eliminated and absorbed into the school districts because of the cost. They found they could do the services at a less cost than, the combined entity was. So I'm wondering if we're getting to that point where, again, 183,000, what can we provide, or do we want to provide? I guess is the question, for those services.
Yeah, it would be something we'd have to explore. I mean, it would require hiring a new staff member with those certifications to be able to serve that population.
Alderman Davis?
Yeah, my question was kind of a combination of that is, are we getting $183,000 worth of benefit out of it? And could we provide a similar or better service if we just took that same amount and applied it towards something? I guess that's where I'm kind of looking at it too.
I would say we couldn't provide a better service only because it's not only those members that would want to be involved in our programs, but also the ability for our residents to then go and participate in their programs. In Crystal Lake on Congress Avenue is where their offices are at. And they have specific programs, sensory rooms, other opportunities at that location that really serve that population the best. But in terms of if we then, I guess would say, take a step back and brought a staff member on, we could serve those members that wanted to be involved in our programs. Whether it's a summer day camp, something along those lines. It's usually a one-on-one. There's some requirement of a one-on-one that would be provided outside of what our normal staffing would be for any class, any program.
All right. Alderman Cook, did you have a question? Did you have your hand raised before? Oh, you're good.
Mine is totally different than what we're talking about.
Okay, got it. Alderman Glab, go ahead.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I think more than anything else is we should be educating ourselves a little bit more of what NISRA is doing for our specific community. And again, for us to analyze it, we're approving expenditures, well, we should know what we're paying for. That's all I'm saying. So we need to just take a look at it, educate the council as a whole as far as what we're getting out of the benefits of NISRA. And then we can evaluate it and whether or not we're able to give those services at a better cost, and probably not, but at least we know what we're paying for. And I think that's the thing more than anything else.
Why don't we have the director come in and answer questions and give the snapshot of what they do? And
yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah,
I do have, I'd asked for this on a yearly basis. I want to know what our participation has been from our community. I can tell you and I have the last 10 years, well, from 2014 to 23, 24, both a unique count, so the number of people that are participating in those programs, and the number of registrations. And for 23, 24, you had 62 individuals and 480 programs that were utilized by City of McHenry residents. And that, again, you see a dip, obviously during the COVID years, but it ranges anywhere from, all the way back in 2014, it was 717 registrations and 147. And now we're in the 60s. I don't have the 24, 25 numbers. However, that 60, 70 individuals is a pretty common number. And then anywhere from 500 to 600 unique programs that those individuals are involved in.
Thank you for that. Alderman Cook.
Now I have something to say. Special needs is what it's exactly called, special needs. These are the people that are on the low end of the scale that need to be provided with all the services that any city person would want. And to nitpick, and I'm sorry, I have a attitude toward this, to nitpick on the lowest people that need the most help, in my opinion, I have no problem with that levy. Okay, so whatever advantages that this city can give to these special needs people, I want them to have. So it's kind of like along the line of the police. Whatever they need, that's what I want them to have. So
don't.
I'm sorry if we're
Chief,
not-
stop it. Jeez. Carport.
So, that's my opinion on it. And I don't want to be nitpicking on it. Okay.
And I appreciate those comments immensely in terms of, and the difference that we're asking for here is this is an item that we can levy for, as opposed to it coming from our general fund. So yes, we're providing the service. It's just we're able to provide some relief from our general fund and actually levy this amount. And so that's where you see this show up in this presentation.
Alderman Bainey, go ahead.
First of all, Alderman, Coach, I appreciate what you said very much. I couldn't agree more. And Bill, you mentioned a couple times that we'd have to hire a staff member. And it seems to me with 60 people in programming, and if we had a camp that had, a dozen individuals that needed one-on-one support, it would be far more than hiring one staff member in order to make sure we were able to offer this. And being that the full conversation here is what we want to do with this, levy in general, just to get that started, I would also be in favor of, starting a NISRA levy, as was option 3, to make sure that we're able to provide these needs for these individuals now and into the future, and having a better process for making sure that as these things increase, we, have a line item in order for that to happen.
Thank you.
Alderman Glenn.
And I think, again, it's not the fact that we're talking about doing away with the service or anything else, or even doing away with NISRA, but again, I want to make sure that what we're paying for is what is actually being given to our residents of the city of McHenry, and not being, filtered out to others. I mean, I can remember when I first got on the council and we talked about, we had the soccer federation, and it just kept pushing and pushing that city of McHenry needs more fields. And we found out that we were about the only one that was doing it. And then when we started finding out the percentages, we found out other communities that were giving them one rocky field, and they had 10 or 15% of the kids that were in the association. So it's the same way with this. Let's make sure if we're paying these dues that we are getting what we're paying, and that it is servicing residents of the city of McHenry and not somewhere else outside the city. That's
Right.
all I'm saying.
Yeah. And it is, the dues across the board are based on EAV and not participants. And so that I don't have other communities' participants, only ours. And the dues are based on our overall EAV for each and every community. That's what they're paying. But I understand what you're asking for. I'm just explaining how those dues are levied from NISRA.
To switch gears to option 2, increased by new growth, is when we're talking about increasing it by new growth, are we talking about what's just been approved, or what actually is on the books as far as EAV for that year?
So it's the EAV that the county gives me for new construction for 2025.
Okay. And as far as PTEL goes, to me, I hate that word because a lot of taxing entities use it. Well, we have to take all that money all the way up to the limit because you know, we have the P-TEL and we lose it if we don't take it, whether they need it or not. In some cases, I've seen other taxing bodies take it just because of the fact they don't want to lose it for the future. And unfortunately, when I remember when P-TEL was created, it was created with the idea of not having such big increases in property taxes. And it seems like P-TEL has caused it to be the reverse. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
All right. Alderwoman Miller?
Thank you. So I totally support a new levy for NISRA dues. I think it's nice to identify it, and then it becomes, even though it becomes a combination of our levy, it becomes a line item for you that gets it out of you, meaning our finance group, not you, Carolyn, getting it out of our general fund so that you can track it. And obviously we know where that money is. Have been and will continue to say, we can't continue to write checks when we don't have money in the funds. And I believe with the expenditures that we are proposing to take on over the next several years, Route 31, streetscapes, parking, there was another biggie in there that I'm now just missing in my head. We've left $16 million on the table, not increasing our levy. And when you look at the chart that Carolyn has up there, and you know that EAV, as EAV goes up, individual taxes go down because you're spreading the levy over the whole volume. I think I understand the concept of not raising taxes. I get that. But we are going to get a budget crisis here real soon that we can't solve other than raising taxes. The individual items that Carolyn brought to our attention, the police pension, it's going to go up $400,000. If we don't increase our levy, we're taking that away from another program that's already in our budget. I don't know how we do that. I don't know how we keep robbing Peter to pay Paul. So I know that we have held the levy flat many years in the past, but I don't know that we can continue to do that and be prudent. Thank you.
Any other question? Oh, Alderwoman Bassi.
Thank you. As we all know, households are tightening their budgets due to the increase in living. And I think the city really needs to do the same. I know, Carolyn, you do an excellent job watching all of the city's pennies, and I thank you for that. But to build on what Alderwoman Miller said about if we don't raise the taxes, we might have to cut some projects. So I'm going to ask you, Mayor Jett, what has the city done to cut back on any non-essential spending?
I mean, as far as all the spending, it's approved in the budget process. So, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about me. Why are you asking me that?
Because Suzanne's not here.
Oh, okay. Well, Carolyn's here. We have a staff member here that can answer some questions for you. Carolyn, you have anything? I mean, I don't even know how you.
So repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Has the city looked at any non-essential spending that could be cut?
I mean, I feel like during our budget process every year, we always are looking at what we don't need. We don't ever exceed what we're budgeting. We always are looking for ways to save costs, always.
Do you have something in mind? Do you have?
No, I don't. But I'm also thinking there's potential revenue, maybe if we brainstormed on that. You know, I just think that the city also has to work within their means. We're all suffering. Just going to the grocery store is a big deal now. So that's why I am not in favor of any one of the three options. But I also have a question for you, Carolyn. When I read the audit, the way I read it, it looks like the city does not need this property tax levy to operate. Do you agree?
So from an operating perspective, we are doing very well. But like Alderwoman Miller brought up, we do have a lot of capital expenses that are going to be coming forward that we could use revenue for and don't have revenue sources for right now.
Thank you.
Alderman Miller?
Yeah, thank you. So again, just for discussion, my understanding of the budget process is that each department/director gets to bring forth their wish list. And then their wish list gets negotiated down to their needs list. And their needs list gets scrutinized to a budget. And then every time we go over that budget, they have to come to us for an amendment. So I think that's probably the best you can do in a civic opportunity, that we're being as frugal as we can be and holding our directors accountable for their department's budgets. I don't believe, in all my time on council and all the conversations I've had about budgeting, that we have a lot of fluff in our budget. I think we've sliced and diced that years ago. I think Derek did a great job during COVID to make sure that we were down to bare bones. I'll use that word. And I think we've maintained that for the last 3 or 4 years since COVID. So I would take great pride in saying that our budgeting process and holding our departments accountable for the budget is working, which is why we're in sound financial position. But again, I will reiterate, we have some huge expenditures coming that we have no plan B for. And we got to start somewhere. We have big bucks on the table. I just gave Doug our IML magazine, if anybody read it. There's a little advertisement in there for additional grant sources. I told Doug to go get $1 billion for us, because we need it. I mean, at the end of the day, there is no extra money in our budget for the things we're going to have to spend money on.
Alderman Glad?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talk about how we have to increase taxes and whatnot. And again, I'm talking about the parks budget or their little pool that they have as far as developer donation funds. They talk about, we've got to back off of the parking lot at Fox Ridge Park because we don't have the funds. Well, we have the funds in the Parks Department, which we could use in that developer donation funds. And why would we not do that project? Are we waiting for it to have to come out of the general fund, which is again affecting our property taxes? You know, every time we take and supplement the rec center out of general fund instead of the parks developer donation funds, we are creating, you know, more need to raise the property tax levies. And let's expense what we do have and then start talking about increasing taxes. And I agree with Alderwoman Miller. We do need to look at long range, and we need to start planning how we're going to pay for some of these things. And maybe we will have to do a gradual increase of property taxes, but at least we've got the game plan so we know exactly where we're going. We're not just raising it with the fact that, oh, this one wants this one or this thing, or this one wants that. No, we've got a game plan that this is coming down the pipe. This is what's going to be needed. And we're not going to hit our residents all at once. And if we have a game plan and the residents understand where the city is as far as financial, and the fact that we're not just taking the money just to take it, we're taking it because we have certain needs and certain things that need to be done in the city. And it might be more acceptable that way than, like I say, just raise the tax and, well, where's it going? Well, they've got this and this and that, you know. Now let's have a specific game plan that we can tell the community what's going on and what it's going to cost, and this is why your taxes are going up on the city level. You know, what the city's percentage is. And I think it's a lot more acceptable than just sending out a notice and saying, oh, guess what? The city of McHenry just raised your taxes again. Let's be as information, as much information and as, informational as we possibly can to our residents. Not everybody's going to read it, but you know what? If one person in the neighborhood reads it, they might tell 14 other people, or even if they tell 3 other people and those 3 people tell a few other, and there'll be a lot of discussions, but at least it shows that we're trying to be as responsible as possible, even though we have to raise those taxes.
And I think we do that through our lengthy process of the budget.
Well,
I think that's every
it
opportunity
needs
for
to
the
be more
council to
specific.
talk about those items. Or if there's items that you don't want to fund, that's your opportunity. I mean, there's been lengthy conversation for years. I mean, you've been on the council for a long time, so you've seen the process. You know that every year you have that opportunity to go through the budget. And if you have questions, you ask Carolyn and staff and the directors on what projects that you do and don't want to fund. I mean, that's your opportunity to do that. I think we do that every single year. And if you want to, if the public wants to show up during that time and have that discussion or learn about that, or if you just want something that we need to put out as a city, that what we're doing and projects, and that's fine too. But I think we do a good job discussing that in open session of what we're doing with our money.
But Wayne, Mayor, what we're talking about more than anything else is the fact that there's variables in there when you're looking at the budget of what you want to do for that year, back and forth. But there are certain things, that are coming to reality down in the future, and those should be, solid every year. And our residents need to know that there's not one of these things to where this is what we'd like to see. This is what is reality, and this is what is coming down the pipe. And this is how we feel the best handle it so that you don't have a complete impact when it happens.
But don't we have a 20-year capital investment program?
Yeah, but again, we're not talking.
But that's
capital.
important. That's what you're talking about, right? I mean, that's a 20-year plan.
It's a plan, but we're talking certain things that we have no control over, such as Route 31 widening, certain things that are coming down the pipe that we have no control on, and we need to take and have a plan of how we're going to pay for that.
Once again, I think we've done that too.
For
For Route 31, we brought it to council. We've decided to put money towards it. We have I'm just throwing out a number, $7 million put towards Route 31 project. Is that correct, Carolyn? Somewhere around that. I think we've done our part to share with the council and come up with plans of paying, into these funds or put towards these projects. I mean, so I agree that, we can always have these conversations, but also council has that opportunity to ask anytime there's a council meeting.
Right.
There's, when your city council comments every single meeting, if there's a thing that you want to bring forward or you want to have a discussion, mention it, and we'll bring it to council and have a discussion item on it. But I think we do and I could be wrong, but I think we do a good job in bringing everything and being very honest with the public on what's happening in different projects.
And additionally, some of the things that you've done I know in our ward, we've, met with residents and made other opportunities for residents to come and see what is happening, how that may impact taxes, how that may impact development. We've done it, in multiple wards. We've done it with the Route 31 project as well. And I know as an alderwoman, I, make it a point to share these types of informational, important information with the constituents, whether it's by email. I know Alderwoman Bassey does that with her constituents as well. And so I think that's also part of our job to go out there and spread that message and, continue to educate people.
Agreed. Alderman Jordan.
Having sat in Carolyn's position in a couple other organizations, your budget is in fine shape. You also do not want to have your budget so locked in that you have no leeway to do anything. And you are at that point where you have that luxury. So if something comes up unexpected, you have been able to fund it. Just in the few short months that I've been here or the months that I've observed this, look at your fund balance as you ended the year. You know, you start the budget at a zero basis. You want the revenues to equal the expense. You increased almost every fund balance on the balance sheet last year. That's commendable. You also have leeway, but you don't want to lose that leeway. You want to have the gaps in there so you do have some options should push come to shove. You have to be able to spend something. You want that in there. You know, your point is well taken, you know, but with the, you know, you want to know what your expenditures are and you want to know what's coming, and you've got the 20-year plan. You've talked repeatedly, I've heard about the Route 31 project, how, you know, it's 9 million that we're owed. You've already funded 7 million. That was one of the discussion items we had when we were talking about the end of the year, that possibly some of the fund balance from this year would go towards that. Okay, so at the end of this year, we have 8 million towards that. You're doing a good job of doing it already. Don't get nitpicky. Let the departments do their jobs. They come to you every year with their wish list. You either take their wish list or you don't take your wish list, but don't wreck the process. You do have a process going on here, and keep the process going. Keep the dialogue going. Keep the questions going. You know, your input there, but don't think you're in dire straits. We're not in dire straits, nor do I want the process to change. You know, you're doing a great job. Carolyn's doing a great job. You know, she put this whole thing together, the whole, you know, the audit, the budget. It's a good system. Don't wreck it, guys.
Alderman Cook.
If raising this levy, is this helping us to pad Route 31 and everything else to make sure that when the bill comes due for Route 31, that we have the monies to slide over to it and complete it?
So if I'm not
I mean,
mistaken, Carolyn,
It could. I mean, typically our levy is used more for operating expenses, but obviously in the long run, if our revenues are over expenses, we would come to you with what would you like us to do with the money? If we need Route 31, if we need streetscape, if we need whatever the project may be, it's in your guys' hands when we do have revenues over expenses.
As Alderman Steve said, that, you know, not a slush fund, but, you know, a just in case fund, all right? Don't want to string tie you to where you can't move and help. With this levy, I know we need it. You know, I'm not rooting for it, but I want to be well padded. I want to be in case there's an emergency. So I just worry about Route 31, you know, make sure that that gets paid. So, you know, not just spring it on and all of a sudden we got to have what do you call it? A bond. You know, I really don't like that. I mean, and I'm going to change subjects here because the police pension, we had a bond, $25 million bond on that, right, Mayor?
what's that?
$25 million bond for the police pension.
Yes, we do have a bond.
All right. So
I
when
don't know if
does,
it's 25 million.
so when does the police pension start taking over itself? I mean, you know,
So we have been between 90 and 105% funded since we did the bond. And it'll stay around that amount while people retire. And it's a kind of move and flow number, but we are really well funded in police pension. So unfortunately, when you have disability pensions or a bunch of people retire, your amount per year will go
is
up.
that why it went up $407,000?
Yes.
For the police? Okay. Not that I want anything against the police, okay? You know, I'm not picking on you. I just wanted to know, you know, I mean, we give you there's $500,000 that goes to the police pension fund every year, and then it increased.
Yeah, so we are close to $3 million that goes every year to the police pension for
Yeah.
the bond and for our annual required contribution.
And when does this come about, to where it takes over?
When is the bond paid off? We still probably have
To 38?
15 years or so.
Yeah, to 38, okay.
Yeah, we just did it like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right?
So, I mean, at that point, yes, then our required contribution will be
Yeah, a lot less.
a lot less.
So we have another bond that's being paid off in what, 27?
I think we have a couple in 27, correct?
Okay.
Yes.
So that-
Some of them are water sewer, but no, I think water sewer is later. I think they're 29,
Okay,
but yeah.
yeah, if I remember correctly, CRS.
Sorry.
But yes, you are doing a hell of a job,
Thank
and I just, looking at the police pension and just, I was hoping for the best.
Alderman Bessie?
I completely agree with your statements, Alderman Doherty. We are in a very good situation right now, and I think a lot of that credit does go to Carolyn. And because we are in such good shape right now, I would like to leave the tax levy as is and reevaluate it next year. We do have a slush fund. I know we have 31 coming. Whoever negotiated, I think it was Ross. It was Russ with the payment schedule. That was excellent. So thank you so much for that. So I think we are in good shape. We are planning for 31. Anything excess is going to 31. And I do think we're in good place right now with 31. Do we really think it's going to be what they tell us? Probably not. It's going to be extra. But I also think because we've got the payment plans, I think we're going to be in good shape. And we do have the slush fund, as you guys are calling it. So I would like to leave the tax levy as is and then readdress the conversation next year.
Okay. Can I get any other, Alderman Bainey, you said option 3. Any others?
Option 3.
Option 3. Go ahead.
I just think it makes sense to use the increase by new growth. It doesn't increase the amount that a resident should be paying. I mean, needless to say, not every single EAV is going to be, exactly the same every year. So that could, fluctuate. But basically, as an average, every resident would not be paying more because the new growth is paid for, the tax dollars are paid for by the new growth. So I'm willing to go with that only because of the fact that we don't want to fall back, but we don't want to move forward either as far as trying to, raise an individual's taxes. So our appropriations, it's not really adding 0.8% to everybody's taxes. It's just to our appropriations. Should not affect anybody's property taxes, directly. So
Right.
I'd go with the new growth.
Okay. And then Alderman Doherty and Alderman Bainey, are you for option 2 and 3 or just 3?
I would do 2 and 3.
3.
Okay. Any other council members for input? Alderman Miller?
So at a minimum, I'm a yes for option 3, but I absolutely think we need an increase in the general rate. And I will be the odd man out here and say that I believe we need to support option 1, PTEL, and the NISRA levy.
Okay.
I'm a 1-3.
Thank you.
Just a heads up that will probably put us over 5%. And I don't,
I would maximize whatever you can.
okay, because I don't really want to go over 5, because then we have to do the
What do you
whole,
think the levy would be for NISRA?
that's the 183, so the,
What would the percentage be?
uh,
I don't know what our EAB is off the top of my head.
maybe 4. But both would put us over 5.
But,
And I
but
don't
you could
really
do
want
2
to-
and 3, just not 1 and 3. Well, you can, but you,
I mean, we can
Prefer
do, technically, we can do whatever we want, but
right.
it does add I don't really want to do that, go over 5.
Okay. So,
So I think we need to maximize our opportunities.
okay.
So 3 plus whatever else.
3 plus max. Got it. Okay. Alderman Cook?
It's a tough one.
Alderman Davis? What, Mike? Are you gonna, yeah, go ahead. If you,
Well, definitely 3. I understand down the road, 2.9. I don't know. I go with 2 and 3 then. Because we can always look at it next year, I guess.
okay. Alderman Davis?
I'm leaning towards 3, but I could be swayed if we were 1 and 2. Definitely not 1 and 3. From my perspective.
Okay. Alderman Bassey's none?
Correct.
Okay. Alderman Glenn?
Yeah, what I want to mention is again, as far as the NISRA dues go, and creating a new levy, I mean, what is it? Just basically, we're just taking, how would you say, and telling the public that, well, the city of McHenry isn't charging you this as far as taxes. It's on a separate line on their taxing. Because that's what we're talking about here, right? With a new levy is a new tax line. And anytime you create a new tax line, things tend to get out of control a little bit more. It's a little easier to, for somebody else to take and add levies on there. And how much are we going to really monitor that from year to year as far as where their increases are? Because we're not going to be involved so much into the levy of the NISR, correct?
No, the NISRA levy would still be set by you.
We will,
It's
it'll
just-
still come to the council every year?
Correct. Yeah, no, it doesn't change
Even
anything.
if they do the increase, it's still.
Yeah, I will
we
still
have to
present
look at-
whatever the new dollar amount is, and you would still have control to say, no, we don't want to raise the levy.
So we're gonna have the control of what the levy's gonna be every year anyway.
Yep, it still leaves it all in your hands.
So-
It's just a fund on the tax
It's
line.
more of a,
It's more so we can keep track of that. This is NISRA dues.
individually.
And next year we know they're going to be $200,000 or whatever they're going to be, so we can add that.
It's just if we put it on the tax rolls that way,
Correct.
it's just a little bit more that confuses the average homeowner as far as where their money's going, So I couldn't be in favor of keeping it separate, making it separate one.
Okay. So I have 5 for 3, and then Alderman Davis is the only one that would possibly do a 2 and 3. Would you be in favor of the growth and 3?
You're asking me.
Yeah.
You
Just because you said 1 or
said I
2.
was in favor of it, and then you asked if I was in favor.
No, you're in favor of 3, and then you said 1 and 2, but not 1 and 3. So are you in?
Oh, I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I would prefer to keep it under a little control. So if it was 1 and 2 and not 3, then I'm fine with swapping that out. But I don't want to prefer jumping to 200. I don't know. So
2
I would
is
say
already,
no, not 2 and 3. But
New-
1, 2, or 3.
new growth is already included in 1. So you couldn't do 1 and 2,
Okay.
just to be clear.
Yeah. Then I would prefer 1 or 3.
1 or 3. Okay, got it. Okay, so at this point, we got a majority saying 3.
Question?
Go ahead.
Okay, so if we're gonna create a new levy for NISRA at 183,318, are we taking that out of the general levy? And will that lower that levy if we don't take an increase? Or will that just keep the levy at what it's at and we're taking an automatic increase by creating a new levy?
So there were 2 different slides. One showed you just adding the levy and not changing the dollar amount. I believe what the majority of you are saying is we want to increase the levy by the 183,000. Is that correct? Okay, so the levy would be increasing by 183,000.
The levy is it being increased
It
that way
would be
automatically?
increased.
If it's
If
option
that's
number
what
three.
if that's what your consensus is, I will bring
So
a
that's no
dollar
increase
amount.
by P-TEL, and that's no increase for new growth. It's just an automatic
It's a dollar amount instead.
183,318 if we take option number 3. So we're adding an increase right there just by creating that levy.
Correct.
And just so everybody's aware of that. So when you're combining 2 and 3 or 1 and 3 or whatever, you're creating even a bigger increase.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bassi.
Carolyn, did I hear the? If we go with number 3, and I'm still not in favor of any of those, but just, if you have a $300,000 home, approximately, what
So-
would option 3 result
So
in?
that would be the last column there.
$16.50.
The,
$1,650 additional to,
yes.
A
So it'd be
$300,000 home.
$447.70 is the total that would come to the city of McHenry if your house stayed the same value between 24 and 25. It
okay,
went from 461 to 447. So it goes down as long as your house stays the same value.
okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Alderman Cook? You can't do 1 and 2. So option 3, no 2. Okay. All right. So option 3.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda, is staff reports. Any staff reports this evening? I'm guessing no, but just want to make sure. All right. Yeah. Don't ask him that. All right, moving on.
But I'd be more than happy to talk about the 20-year investment plan if everybody wants to hear about that.
All right, moving on, for the mayor's report. There's a letter in front of you this evening that I'd like to have David kind of chime in on this, but I would like to write a letter to the chairman, to Chairman Bueller, along with the county board, in opposition of the solar farm that is being proposed on Bull Valley Road. I think it's important to get this out to the board and let them know where we stand. So I wanted to bring this to council, let you all discuss it in open session. And if you are in favor of this letter going out, David will discuss the verbiage and so forth. We'd like to get it out by the end of the week. So David, go ahead.
So what the mayor would like to do is take a position in opposition to the proposed solar development outside the city limits, immediately outside the city limits in accordance with the terms of this letter. However, this isn't on the agenda. You're not voting on it. I wouldn't even call it a consensus, but he would like to know if individually you agree with the position of the letter. And then the way it should be phrased, since we're not voting on it, it's not timely to get on the agenda. It would read, the first sentence would read something to the effect, I am writing to express the opposition of myself as mayor and all individual city council members to the proposed solar farm, blah, blah, blah. So he'll represent that you people as individuals who are the city council, but not by vote, individually you agree with this, and he would, in essence, represent that. That's the best that's going to happen tonight. And so each of you should, if you're interested, you don't have to, agree or not agree with his position, and he'll state that accurately, whatever it is.
Sure. Alderwoman Bassi.
I am in complete support of this letter, and I'm very happy that you're going to be sending it out. I understand it's going to change a little bit. That's okay. But the meat and potatoes of it, I completely support, and thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Alderwoman Miller?
I agree. I'm in support of the letter, and I think it reflects many of the emails and responses we've had from our constituents over the last several solar conversations. So I'm grateful that you're going out on a limb and sending this to Chairman Bueller and showing our opposition in our planning area.
And just so you know, for transparency, I did reach out to him today, just to let him know, so that way there was no blindsiding of this. Obviously, I would not want that if it was coming from the school district or, the county to us. So he is aware that a letter may come his way, so. Alderman Bainey?
I'm in support of the letter as well.
Thank you. Alderman Dory?
Support.
Alderman Glenn?
I'm sorry.
Are you okay with the letter going out?
Yes, definitely. I'm sorry, I'm studying the figures again.
Okay, sounds good. Alderman Davis?
Yes.
Alderman Cook?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and modify the letter. David will get it back to me, and then we will go, and Ross, go ahead.
Sorry, we did get contacted today by the developer,
Thank you.
developer, and he asked that I pass on contact information. So I'm going to go ahead and email that to you tomorrow, contact information for that individual if any of you have questions. So
That's
just wanted to let you know you'll be getting an email with the developers, the solar farm developers'
Yeah.
contact information if you have individual questions.
Perfect. Thank you. I forgot about that. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. City council comments? I am looking for a motion to adjourn. Alderwoman Bainey,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
thank you. Second. Alderman Cook,
I'll make that, I'll second that motion.
thank you. Please call the roll.
Alderwoman Bainey,
Yes.
Alderman Cook,
Yes.
Alderman Glad,
Yes.
Alderman Doherty,
Yes.
Alderwoman Massey,
Yes.
Alderman Davis,
Yes.
Alderwoman Miller.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, staff. Yeah, you could,